Cabinet Secretary in this docket? What are you going to do about the plight of the boy child? What are you going to do about femicide? What are you going to do about all the things you have been asked, FGM and so on? So people, members of the public and this team are looking to you to demonstrate your vision for the country and what you can do to improve the space to which the president has nominated you to be. So avoid generalities and histrionics.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and sorry for the deviation. I want to just add something, Honorable Speaker, that most of the areas that honorable members are asked, they are areas also of research, which I might not have information, I might not have the data, but I could be having general knowledge. And since, Honorable Chair, I'm not an expert, I withdraw my sentiments, and I beg the honorable members to give me an opportunity to continue with the presentation.
We'll go to Owen.
Just a quick one, Honorable, so I can also give guidance. I think, I mean, we would like to see what are the policies, what are the policy gap in the gender sector? What are the legislative gaps in the gender sector? And the other areas that you've been nominated to. You're not just in gender, you're also in culture and something else. Culture, arts, and heritage. Yes. The heritage part is quite important for this nation, but I haven't heard you actually say anything about heritage and what are the issues that we need. Probably I need to ask you, what are the issues in heritage? How are we going? Gede Ruins has been given a title now as one of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. How is that important to this country? And there are many areas where we have these UNESCO Heritage Sites, but the people there are very poor. They have not had any impact on this world classification in terms of heritage. What is it that you need to do in culture? You know, in terms of performance arts, in terms of young people, content creation, and all that. If you give us that, we'll be able to see, yeah, you really can help this country in the cabinet. I don't have a question. Thank you.
Good. George, no? Mary, you'll pass? I pass. You'll pass. Robert?
Yeah, thank you, Speaker. As a nation, we have toyed with the idea of a national dress for a very, very long time. But we are still stuck in formal wear that is foreign, even during our national events or social engagements. In fact, you can see that when we are doing all this work, we've all been in suits and ties. And even our parliament, we have to be in suits and ties. What do you have to say about that on issues of dress? The Kenyan dress.
Chair, with the gender ministry, that I cannot pass, I have to say something. And my question, one will be on the gender-based violence. And I'm looking on how are you going to do some intervention, because the cases are rising each and every day, especially in the rural setup. And one of the reasons is because there's still some tradition. When these cases happen, the family feels that if we go report, we're exposing our daughters, and become a challenge to that daughter to receive some justice. On the same breath, we have seen what is happening in our police stations. When these cases are reported, the evidence on some cases have been confiscated, and maybe sometimes the evidence are not there, are not even taken to the courts. And it becomes a very big challenge for these daughters of ours to get some justice. I want just to get from our nominee, what kind of intervention or rather mitigation are you really going to do? Because we have good laws, sexual offense bill, we have the victim protection bill, and so many others. But still, each and every day, we are seeing these cases. And it's shocking that you can even see a father raping a daughter, a brother raping a sister. It is really very, very sad, Honorable Chairman. My second question, it is about the issue of our culture and heritage. And I see we have a challenge, especially in preserving and promoting our cultural heritage. Knowing that as a country in Kenya, we are rich in cultural heritage. I'm looking on how are we protecting our right. For instance, the patent right on our kiondo, for instance, from the Kamba land. That kiondo from the Kamba land. That ushanga from the Ma community. And those regalia from the Pokot and the Turkana. These are all culture. This country is high time that we need to know, how are we showcasing our culture? Do we have a cultural day? Maybe so that all our communities can just come together. We have like a celebration and we showcase where we came from as Africans, as Kenyans, and where we are. Because this is one way even to promote tourism. Because I mean, people will just come on that cultural day and just come to see what Kenya has. So I want to say that we need to tap those available opportunities in terms of culture, art, and national heritage. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Yeah, I had not prepared to ask, but Speaker, no, just a moment. I wish you listen to me, Speaker. I said I did not have a question, but I just had an opportunity to peruse a CV, and I noticed something very unprecedented with the civil, the officer in public office. The nominee, you've not gotten...
On which page?
From page 13, basically on her experience and the position she has held, all the way to 21, actually all the way to 23. Not arranged in chronological manner, but from 23, she has served in so many positions across so many ministries, county governments, parastatals. There is no any promotion in one single ministry. So it begs the question, why are you not promoted from where you are? You are always going to another organization, another office, another either county government. Sometimes you are exchanging. Yeah, so I just wanted to know why.
No, I think you're reading it wrong. Yes, because if you look at it from page 20, if you start with page 23, which is the father as far back, she was a personnel officer. Then she rose to a district officer 3. Then she rose to assistant secretary. Then she rose to assistant secretary again in the finance division. Yes. And then
I think Caleb never worked in the public service, so he doesn't understand it.
No. I think you didn't get my question. At least if you work in the Ministry of Interior, for example, you will rise up. If it's Division 1, you go to Division 2. My question is that all these organizations, there's no any single workplace you've risen up. You're always going to the next. If
assistant secretary 1, and then at the Ministry of Defense, she was a senior assistant secretary and personal assistant to the permanent secretary. That's a rise.
You could let her
secretary is a rise. No, I think you're being disparaging of women.
Respond. Then let the nominee respond. It's just a simple question.
Chairman, point of order. Chairman, just to add on what Caleb has just said, I've also observed that she has been working on a very short period of time. Short period. If you just look, yeah, maybe we need to understand why, for instance, Minister of Labor, 2005 to June 2008, and there's one which was very short.
Be fair to the nominee in public service order.
Yeah, we just need to understand maybe that trend. We just need to understand.
In public service, Honorable Mishi,
we need to understand.
I'm not defending the nominee, she will answer. But in public service, no servant chooses where to work. You can be rotated around anywhere. I was a magistrate for only 8 months, and I worked in 5 stations. I don't know what you would say about that. Nominee, you've had the questions, including Caleb Amis's question, that you seem to have been marking time in your positions of appointment, and you suffered regular transfers and change of places of work.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to start from the last question so that I clear the air. Honorable Speaker, maybe also to shed some light on the operation of a public service, where I've served for 29 years, Honorable Speaker. In the public service, there is what we call rotation of staff. And in the career, as a career administrator, you can only work in one station for not more than 3 years. I believe that one is clear, Honorable Speaker.
Yes, go on.
And that is a career that you don't just move from one level to another. There are requirements to move from one job grade to another, especially in administration. There are required training, capacity building for you to be allowed to move from one grade to another. So, Honorable Speaker, I started working as an assistant secretary, which is equivalent to DO3 in field administration. I rose to the level of assistant secretary 2. I moved again to 1. I moved again to senior assistant secretary. I moved again to under secretary. I moved again, if you can follow my CV, to senior deputy secretary, where I served for a very long time. And the equivalent position in the field is Deputy County Commissioner 2. So,
which in the old system would be a DC?
DC, which is senior DC. So, Honorable Speaker, the working of a public service is complex, and I appreciate the questions from the members. And like in the first phase that you can see in my CV, I've worked in 3 different state departments.
Move to another question.
Yes. So I believe I've...
Address the question by
Yes.
Owen, then the question by Mishi, and the question by Robert.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to answer the questions from the question of the UNESCO historical sites, which was asked by one of the honorable members. And I want to report that the Republic of Kenya was privileged to be part of the countries whose one site was approved by the UNESCO in the 2024. That is the Kedi ruins as historical sites under preservation and maintenance by the UNESCO, under the UNESCO protocol. So I wanted to just add also on issues of performing artists. Performing artists in the Republic of Kenya are actually assisted through the Kenya Cultural Center, where we have the National Theatre with a comprehensive setup of other facilities which are assisting our performing artists to be able to exploit their talents and develop them and be able to have a gainful, they are able to participate in the economic field where they are able to exhibit, they are able to perform locally and internationally. Our Constitution, Honorable Speaker, recognizes culture as a foundation of our nation and also as an area where it needs to be preserved and promoted by the nation. And our Constitution recognizes and promotes and recommends that the state should promote issues of cultural heritage, covering issues of our literature, our performing artists, our music, communication,